Hello, YouTube and the World Wide Web. This is Check It Dude on Rickatube on YouTube with snipergaming.org with today another
Remember,
GTA
I'll do
5.
anything as long as it's legal.
Alright,
Ish.
shut up so I could talk. That's anything. Another GTA 5 video. This is another video, I think it's our fourth in the fastest chopper series, actually probably our third. Feels like the fourth. Maybe it's getting a little bit old. Today's little competition we have between the choppers is a long distance while climbing in an elevation. Which chopper is going to make it the quickest from one point to another? From the international airport all the way up to Mount Kilimanjaro, where King Kong lives. Mount Chiliad. And we're not going to do a few of the choppers this time. A few of the choppers that I know have no chance. No chance to be even in the top 5. We're going to start with the Buzzard. Now, we're not going to show you every inch of this race, of every chopper, because it would take too long. So we're going to show you the entire course on this first trip with the Buzzard. And after that, we will condense the runs. Now, ideally, to be fair to each chopper, this race is only, running this course is only accurate as far as getting the fastest speed for each chopper. It can only be true if it's completely efficient, which means that we never ever have to lose altitude. But I don't have an altimeter I can really read while I fly. There's one, well, I kind of do, but it would be nice if one was on the screen. So it's going to be close enough. There's going to be times where we're going to have to lose a little bit of elevation because maybe we climbed too high right before a checkpoint. But it's not going to be extreme. And because it's not going to be extreme, the difference will be made back up as we go down and lose elevation. We'll also be picking up speed to help make up for the mistakes. And if it was a long way up and you had to come down a long way, that would have been extremely inefficient, and the time would be inaccurate on what the chopper could actually do. But it's not going to be extreme. If we have to lose elevation at all, it won't be enough to make a really huge difference. And the Buzzard finishes with a time of 3 minutes, 3 seconds, .541. 123 seconds. Not really impressive, even as the first chopper in the race. I know that's not very good. And here comes the Frogger. And here comes the Frogger across the finish line with a time of, come on, get there, old lady, 3 minutes and 1 second to slide the Frogger into first place. The Valkyrie. I noticed something strange about this chopper when doing this run, and I have never noticed it before in any other of the chopper series videos. Watch this thing pull to the right. It's constantly wanting to steer right all on its own, and I'm always having to correct it. No doubt that hurt the chopper's time, but I guess this one's on GTA. You know, there wasn't a wind. This is all filmed at the same time as the other helicopters. I filmed them all within an hour. And constantly, see, up to the right again. Correct. And of course, when you correct, it changes the plane of where your blades are, and you do drop and lose elevation. So it hurt the time. And as the Valkyrie makes its final approach, slanting right, I'm quite sure it's going to be in last place here, behind the chopper and the Frogger. I mean, the Buzzard and the Frogger. And the time is 3 minutes, 7 seconds, .599. Next up, we have the Maverick. The first three helicopters were close in time, within 6 or 7 seconds. They're all what I call in the same class as far as speed goes. Now, I think the Valkyrie, if it wasn't pulling to the right, I think it may have beaten the other two, but that's not the case. It is in third place. And as the Maverick limps across the finish line with a time of 3 minutes and 12 seconds, .910. I believe that's just good enough to be in last place. And the Maverick's cousin, the Police Maverick, is next. Let's see what she does. Now you may notice I do not go pitch the chopper forward right at the starting gate. And the reason for that is because these helicopters tend to dip down, and they would probably hit the runway at some point if I did that. Some of them would. It doesn't affect the time. We have to do two things in this race. We have to go up and we have to go over. And it's a wash whether you want to go up or over and up, with the exception of going straight up and straight over for these distances would make a difference, but the little bit there is a wash. And the Police Maverick, 3 minutes, 8 seconds, .758. Interesting to see that the Copper Chopper is faster than its Maverick cousin. Here we have the Super Velito. And the Super Velito across the finish line with a time of, wow, 238.72, smoking the rest of the field to this point. And next up, the Super Velito Carbon, the sister to the Super Velito and a bit lighter. And with this long climb, I expect this will beat its sister. Funny thing was, the last video in the Chopper series was basically almost like the same course, but descending down in elevation rather than gaining, and the Super Velito beat the lighter sister. So I think just the opposite's going to happen here. I guess GTA, they just think of everything, don't they? And the Super Velito across the finish line with a time of, does she beat her little girl to 39.312? She does not, so I called that one wrong. Next up the bat, what do we have here? We have the Savage. And the Savage is going to surprise you in this race. I've noticed one thing about the Savage is that it does like to climb as it travels forward. When you're fully accelerating, it goes up pretty well. And it's a big, heavy, not really fast blazing type of speed chopper, but it's pretty solid in that category. And like I was saying, I mean, just look at this thing climb. I think it's going to actually... Well, I had to... Practically made the first checkpoint without having to take off your finger off the forward button. As a matter of fact, it would have made it if I didn't just temporarily take my finger off, because you can see it did hit the top of the checkpoint as opposed to the bottom. So it's got a lot of power. The Savage crosses the finish line with a time of 2 minutes and 42 seconds, .916. And it was well enough for third place right behind the Velitos. Next up, the Swift, non-deluxe. I expect the Swifts to do very well in this. And here comes the Swift towards the finish line, needing to beat 158.73, which is 2 minutes 38 seconds. And it takes the lead with 236.103. And next up is the Swift Deluxe. Time to beat 156.103. And the Swift Deluxe slides into first place over her cousin or sister or whatever she is to her. Next up, the Havoc, fully modified, punched out. You're able to modify this chopper, and it's pretty quick. It's going to do really well. I don't know if it's got enough to take the Swift Deluxe or the Swift. It could do it. It's probably going to beat the Velitos. It's very fast for a little guy. Let's see what happens. And the Havoc blazes across the finish line. Not quick enough to beat the Swifts, but pretty close. It does place above the Valitos and gives it a solid third place. Next up, the sleeper of the last competition, which was long distance while descending, is the Volatus. Very thin aircraft. Doesn't carry a lot of wind resistance. Kind of cuts through the air like a hot knife through butter. And I don't expect it's going to take first place. I think it'll place in the top 5. I don't recall it being that great of a climber, although look at it go here. It's climbing fairly well. We'll give it a little chance. I lifted my finger there. Time to beat is 2 minutes and 33 seconds, and the Volatus, it crosses the finish line. Does it win? It does take the lead at 2:29. This chopper continues to impress. Other than it doesn't land very well, and it's not the best handling helicopter, and everybody thinks the Swifts are the fastest. So far in 2 competitions now, this Volatus has done extremely well, winning 2 of them. And last but not least, and I expect this Hunter to win this competition because of its climbing ability and its overall speed. And look how high it is already. Please don't forget to like and subscribe this video and my channel. The Hunter is approaching the finish line, and it has such climbing ability. We had to constantly lay off the throttle to keep it from going too high. But it doesn't hurt the time having to do that. It will speed the chopper up, lifting off the throttle and planing out. And the time to beat is 2 minutes and 29 seconds for the Hunter to win the competition, and it crosses the finish line. Does it beat 2:29? It beats 2:29 by about 5 seconds. The winner of this competition is the Hunter.